Sam.
Well, hi, Chris.
Hi, Sam. How are you?
Just lovely.
Sam, you are on deck. Welcome.
I am.
Yes.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting it, but thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And I'm glad that you were able to make it to Florida and make the drive over here from Naples, because Naples, tough place to leave.
It was. Especially my brother on the phone. He's like, I might be leaving early today. I said, well, take your time. I got a little trip. He's like, you're really going? I said, yeah, sure. I got to go see everyone, say hello. It's been a while. I haven't seen you guys with COVID, so I figured this would be a good time.
Yes. Perfect.
An hour and 45 minutes wasn't bad. It was a good ride.
Well, it should be said for those who, for whoever ends up watching and listening, that Sam, you operate Bald Hill, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Kia.
That's true.
And you have been a client and partner of the agency for a long time, like 5, 6 years now, maybe 7.
Is it 15 we started?
Okay.
Maybe?
So it's been 6 years.
6 years. Time flies by.
It's amazing how quickly it goes.
Can't believe it.
And I can say that you, out of all of our clients, are the one really, when we think about like relationships, which is something that we talk about a lot here at the agency.
Right.
You've been very close and a great communicator with so many different members of our crew over the years. And I'm saying that because that's an important asset to the relationship, and why we're able to, I think, do great work and have a long-standing relationship, is that you really, of all of our clients, really communicate regularly and significantly with so many different members of the team here. And I think that's important. I think that's something that not all clients realize can be such a benefit to them.
Huge benefit. It really is. Now, the biggest thing now I realized since day one, your team was like clicked. It was just one of those things. You get to talk to people and you kind of get a feeling for people, right. And it was comfortable from day one, so we had a lot of nice things going. The team has been fabulous. I mean, I'm not building them up, but they've been fabulous. So it's been a great experience.
Well, thank you. That means a lot.
And they're always there for me. That means a lot too.
Yeah.
Anything I ask for, it's always there. Well,
that's it. And as somebody who operates a business, that's what you hope for. That's what you hope your people will do, is that Sure. They would, honor what you yourself would do to the very best of their ability. And I think our relationship is a testament to that.
That's absolutely true.
There's so many things that we could talk about. I have a couple of, just light ideas of where I'd like our conversation to go. But I think that being that we're in this very interesting time with our business, particularly now, sort of coming out of COVID, and being faced with these these inventory challenges, as a business operator and somebody who has operated your business for a long time, right? The store, you've been at that store for a long time.
30 years.
Yes.
Well, I grew up there, so it's a family store.
Yeah.
So it's been like that for years for me. So it's along with Jim
mm-hmm.
and Bobby.
Yes.
I'm like kind of the younger brother. I'm not saying they're a lot older than me, but the few years difference between us, I always felt like I'm always the younger brother to them.
Right.
And I always felt right, when like I said about your agency, it felt right. So graduating from college, going into the car business, I don't know what computers had to do with the car business, but back then it was legit going out there to look for a job and landed this.
That's right, because your education was in computers.
Computer science.
Yeah.
Yes. I had 2 degrees. So computers back then was a lot different than it is right now,
Sure.
Obviously. But so graduating, coming out, looking for a job, and job industry wasn't easy back in the 90s. It tells you a little bit about my age, so early 90s. When I was hired from day one, I kind of felt like it's a right place for me. So I started as a salesperson there, Bob and Jim has been, it's been 30 years now. It's been the best 30 years you'll ever hope for.
Yeah, that's great. You know, because, and particularly in the retail car business, because of the nature of the business and the nature of a lot of people in the business, there's tends to be a lot of moving for opportunities, right? People get to a certain point here at this store, and then, they might have a better opportunity to go further there. So for a guy like you to 30 years with the same organization, it says a lot.
I get that a lot, and I kind of look at people and say, I guess it is. It is true. Not a lot of people last in the business, and I've experienced that throughout the 30 years there, right? So for me, for 30 years, I've seen the people in and out the door, right? Is there a song behind that?
There could be, right? We'll pick up a guitar later. We'll write one.
Right. But one thing I realized, that there's, you could think there's other places and, greener. What do they say?
Yeah, the grass
is greener on the other
side of the fence, right?
I always thought differently. I always thought it's what you make out of your life, right? That was my philosophy, So you get to a point in life and you just look at it and say, is it really worth it for me to make the jump? There's so many opportunities, right? There's always opportunities. You got to look at the opportunities you have in front of you. And that's how I always looked at it. So starting there, back in the early 90s, being a salesperson, the first opportunity I had in mind was a sales manager. And sure enough, that's what I aimed for. 2 years later, I was there. And from there, I grew. So Jim and Bob, I grew up with them in the business, going from a sales manager, pre-owned manager, operation manager, general manager. So you get to see a lot of part of the business and the involvement. And being there for that long, you get to understand there's so much to learn every day. So when people make those jumps, to me, it's like, you're starting over.
Right.
You're starting all over. You got to learn the culture. You got to learn the people. You got to learn, it's starting over. Even though it's a similar position, but you are starting over.
Sure.
And I always avoided that. I think I was blessed too, to have, two people with me that obviously operated a business and their third family generation.
Yeah.
So that was great. Their family always they're always there. They were always there.
It's we've been around this business a long time, and
Right.
and unfortunately, we know there's always sort of like these sarcastic stereotypes about the car business from people not in the business who don't really understand the business. But having been around the business my entire life, and of course, working in it,
Excuse me.
I still fundamentally believe to my core it's one of the best businesses that this country has, in the sense that you've got these families that go back 2 and 3 generations that took a risk and, kind of put it all on the line to start some business selling cars, 50 years ago, 70 years ago, whatever it was.
80 years ago.
80 years ago. And they're able to develop something really powerful and hopefully wealth building and security building for their families, and then it passes on generation after generation. And then for those who were not born into that, the car business is it's a meritocracy, right? Like anybody can come into the car business and make it to the top. Now it's harder these days to become an owner at this point in time, but even still, to be able to come in from any walk of life and start off, whether it's as a man selling or working in the shop, as it's a woman selling, or even as a receptionist. I mean, we've all seen this. It's like this incredible growth opportunity for the people that really see it as that, which
True.
you did.
True.
And it's the people in the car business are some of my favorite people, if not my favorite people, because there's this shared experience of that growth and working and the drive and the hustle and the effort that it takes.
It's funny you say that too, and this is what I drive in a lot of people's head, right? So the people I like, I see the potential, and this is what you got to look for. You got to look for the people that you think they're going to gradually keep climbing, right? And you want to keep those people, and you want to. And there's certain opportunities in life, if you have someone that's worth working with and worth kind of helping throughout the business and grooming them, potentially at the end of the day, kind of mirrors what you did for yourself, right? So you look at yourself, you're like, okay, I've gotten the help, I've gotten the assistant from Bob and Jim, and I look at it the same way. How do I do it for other people? The same way Bob and Jim did it for me. So, and that is what I look for in this in this nowadays. You go to hire new people. It's hard to bring people in, train, get them going, and teach them the whole business. Right? It's very hard.
Yes.
They don't last, and they don't last. You spend a lot of time. So when you have somebody in there that you could groom and bring up, it's definitely one of the best businesses because the potential is endless.
It's interesting. You've touched on so many things that are like questions are firing in my head. But the one thing I want to ask you is, have you found, as we've grown and worked in this business, that the people coming, obviously the employees and new recruits coming into the dealership to work in the car business for the first time, it's my impression that we're dealing with such such a huge generational difference in terms of younger people coming into business now and what they're motivated by and what it is that they want to accomplish for themselves. And just let me elaborate on that just a second.
Sure.
Like, we're not the same age, but we're not far apart. We're not that far apart.
Right.
So if you go back to when we started in this business, the men and women that got in the car business got in because it was like, I can make this much money, right? Very financially motivated to
Fast.
Improve their position in life quickly through this work.
True.
I don't see that coming into the dealership now, do you?
No. It's so unfortunate. And I think it's a lot of businesses. It's not just the automotive business that you don't see that. A lot of businesses, it has changed. And you see it, and you look at people and there's potential in them, but they don't see the potential. They see what is maybe different opportunity for me. This is, it's okay for me to take this job and, and learn or whatever, but they're always looking for something different.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no, I don't know, I can't say it's a loyalty thing. It's not a loyalty thing. It's more of a, I just want to move on and see what else is out there. So they look at a job as it's just a job,
right?
Versus me looking at the job, it's not a job, it's everything to me.
Yeah, it's not even, you couldn't even call it a career when you get to this stage of your career where you're like, it's your life.
It's
it is
everything to you.
Huge, all-encompassing part of your life. And when you talk about, and this is not one generation's better, the other. That's not what it's about. But there's significant differences in the motivators, right?
There is.
And I do see that sometimes where you see some people who are, they're constantly searching for something. And what I have found is that if you apply yourself and you're just working as hard as you can along the way, those things that you're either searching for or value or want more of in your life, they come your way at some point in time.
It's funny,
but you're not out looking for it. It comes when the time is right.
And you have to have that mindset, right?
Yes.
And if you don't, you end up pretty much always looking as like the glass is half empty, not half full.
Yes.
So, talking about glass, mine is half empty. No, it's
and
half
yours
full.
is nice and cool, and mine is hot, and I'm like, well, I'm getting a little warm in here. Right?
Yeah, but I say always half full. You always look at the glass half full.
Of course.
And that's what I think the difference is. But I'm not really sure, and I'm not here to elaborate, on how people obviously, this generation versus other. I mean, I have young kids, and I hope essentially one day, they see what their dad did.
Yes.
30 years, 40 years, whatever, how many years it is, and realize, it's about dedication. You dedicate yourself to something and you'll always find a way to be successful. And that is the difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's believe.
We're coming up on, in June, it will be 15 years of this
Congratulations.
agency. 15. Thank you.
That's fantastic.
I got half in here compared to you.
You've been
I aspire. Yeah.
You've been around the business though.
Yeah, I have.
Your dad has been, right?
Yes.
So.
But you go through that, and like what we're going through right now with COVID and all. You go through these challenges, and if you don't have that that deep love and sense of dedication and commitment to what you're doing, the challenging times that come, and they always do, at some point in time, they'll rattle you. Like, they can absolutely rattle you. And,
True.
you know, it's so, and it's not always about passion. I mean, sometimes, you know, I'm sure you've been through tough times in business where you're just like, oh, this fucking sucks. Right?
There's days that you do feel that way.
And you just
grind through it.
Yes.
It's about the foundation, you know, how you build a foundation. You know, it's just like anything else. The foundation is always built on blocks, right? I mean, you start somewhere, right? Cement, blocks, whatever you want, however you want to build it. You build the foundation, and that's how I feel. It has to be, the base has to be strong. It has to be, so you have to be mentally tough. And that comes within. So it doesn't really happen, you know, just happen. You have to really think that way. And when you do, you start building that foundation, and it becomes a solid foundation. And that's how I believe that, you know, I say I believe, people have to believe. And if they believe they could do it, it gets done. That's how I always look at it. So, and if you don't,
the belief is so important, because if you don't believe, what's the phrase? The phrase is if you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, you're right.
That's right.
Right? And so
that's right. It's all in there.
So much of it just starts there.
It's true.
Where did that come from for you? Like, at what point in your life did you start to say, I believe in myself and I can do this?
Well, do we want to start?
Sure.
Go back. Well, I think really, I truly believe, you know, family obviously has a lot to do with it. Parents, you know, my dad's background, you know, being, you know, fundamentally sound, has always kind of been a man that's always so straight, you know, so don't dance around, just get to it.
Right.
Right? One of those. And that's something you learn as you grow, right? You're around him and you know how he is, and you just learn that naturally, right? So I've always had that in me, you know, just cut to the chase, say it the way it is. Some people might get offended, some people might not, but as long as you're truthful with them and you're truthful with yourself, it always works, right? Most of the time.
Yeah. You know, every now and then you can rub somebody the wrong way, but oh well.
That is true.
What are you going to do?
That is true, but that's you know, starts there, I think. You know, it's family foundation, and you know, me being I was born overseas.
Yes.
And probably, I don't know if we ever had a conversation about
Lebanon.
this or not. You know, well, in Syria I was born.
Oh, you were born in Syria?
And, you know, so yes, but I've been, you know, Syria, Lebanon, it's like one country, pretty much, right? It's an hour and 40 minutes. It's like from Fort Lauderdale to Naples. You spend a lot of time in, but born there, and coming here at the age of 18, 19, I think, going to college, you better get your head straight on, right?
Yeah.
I tried very hard early, you know, but I mean, you always have that challenges. You're young, you're 19 years old, you know, the language.
Still figuring it out,
you know, trying to figure it out, you know. So you got to learn the language. You got to learn how to live around here and figure out your ways and go to school. You know, there's a lot of fun stories behind that, but I don't think we'll have enough time for that.
Well, I'm glad you took it back to where you were born, because I did want to ask you about that.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely, because I think that's, you know, such a crucial part of who you are.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. You know.
What was it like? For some reason, I thought you were from Lebanon.
You know, talking about Lebanon, because I've traveled, you know, with the tough times in Syria, so I've traveled a lot to Lebanon, you know.
Right, okay.
So maybe that's where...
But you're from Syria.
Yeah, so we have families in Lebanon, you know, I mean, my mom's side.
Right.
But yes, born in Syria, all Syrian. Now that I've been here for 36, 37 years. Could you believe this?
However long it's been.
However it's long, yes. So, yeah.
So you, again, I'm just going to throw some stuff out here, and you can say if that's accurate or not accurate.
Sure.
It would be my observation that being Syrian, born there, living there,
right,
and occasionally going back to that part of the world, that's got to give you such a different perspective on what it's like to live in this country. You know, certainly because my understanding, you know, Syria, Lebanon, now we have this, you know, we're back in the, you know, Israel and Gaza.
It's craziness.
It's such a tough part of the world.
It is. It's always been, right?
Yes. Why? Like, why is that?
I can't figure it out. I mean, I never really thought to figure it out first,
right?
Because obviously nobody can.
Right.
And you think about all these years of all the struggles. I mean, you know, when people look at the Middle East and look at it from that perspective, that's, oh my God, it's, you know, it's a whole different world there. You know, I mean, we're talking, you know, Syria, Israel, Lebanon, you know, Jordan. I mean, these are the countries, Egypt. You know, we're talking about countries that have been struggling for a long, long time. Now, I could tell you this for sure. You go there, it's like nothing is going on. It really is. You walk, you know, and this is I'm talking as I was growing up.
Right.
You know, you never felt any of the
you didn't feel
any danger.
Really?
You really never did. Maybe at one time, at one point, I was young. You know, felt that a little bit. You know, maybe the '73.
Okay.
There was some conflicts then, but you really never felt the danger because you kind of live in your life, you're enjoying your time and your families, and families are tight over there. You know, as you know. Europe, it's a little different than the Middle East. U.S. is a little different than Europe. And I could just relate to a lot of things that families like to do in the Middle East. Families like to be together.
Yes.
You know, so I think I've watched one of your podcasts, I think, you know, you talked about Russia and
yes.
visiting, and your wife is from Russia, right?
Yes.
And how they just love to be together, right? It's getting together, it's eating, it's having fun, it's enjoying the family, it's finding ways to be together. And that's what it was. It was always like that. So you grow up thinking of all those great things, right? The nice things. You never think about any tough times growing up. You just want to have fun and enjoy life. So you never really, you know, I never felt the danger there growing up.
You know, this is fascinating to me. I didn't expect you to say that. And the reason that it's so fascinating to me is because we live in this world, this constant, ridiculous fucking news cycle where it's just, I don't know about you, but there's times I'm just like, just don't even turn it on. Stop. Because it is so negative all the time. Everything's a disaster. Everything's problems. Horrible. But yet, if you just tune out of that and you walk outside, you're like, well, life is great. It's beautiful. It's amazing.
Glass
right?
half full.
Half full, right?
Yep.
And so here, you know, you've grown up, you've come from a part of the world that most of us would say, my God, living there might have been just like living in a war zone all the time.
Are you going there? That's
you're like,
really? You going there? Of course I am. You know, and that's what people think about. So it's funny, you know, because people really don't know that part of the world.
Right.
You really don't. I mean, you could say you're going to Russia, you're going to Germany, you're going to France. You know, I mean, it's all modern. It's people seeing pictures, seeing videos. You know, you don't see videos of Syria. You know, unless if it's on the news for anything bad, right?
Right.
You don't see anything about Lebanon unless if it's on the news with something bad. So that, like you said, the news, it's always been the negative part, right?
Yep.
And that's basically what people seen for years. So they see the negative part of it. They never see the glass half full part of it. And that's, you know, and that's what I think the difference is. So from your perspective, you know, yes, it is true. It's definitely, it looks horrible from your side.
What's presented. And
this side.
But the thing is that, you know, it's a shame in the sense that so many millions of people's all around the world, opinions about other people are shaped by news and information that's out there that most of the case is negative or erroneous. And those of us that have had the opportunity to travel and actually be with each other, right, Christians, Muslims, Jews,
Doesn't-
white, black, gay,
Doesn't
straight,
matter.
men, women. It doesn't fucking matter. When
Does
you
not
get
matter.
together with people around the world, you
Doesn't
find
matter.
that there's this common denominator, which is we like to be together as a family.
Right?
We like to do stuff. We like to eat and drink and celebrate.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. And
When
there's so
people-
much more
when people
commonality.
when people see that part, they stop feeling, they forget everything else. Forget the rest of the world. You're with the family, right? You're
Yeah.
with friends. You're enjoying your time. All that is blocked away. All the negativity is gone. You're only focusing on one thing. Having fun then, enjoying your time, being with the family, having a few laughs. That's what you're there for, right?
Yes.
So it is hard. It is definitely difficult times right now that the world is going through, right? So listen, I feel bad every day. I have family there. I have 2 sisters that live there. My mom and dad, they will be visiting all the time. My dad is not doing very well. He's, older now, in 83. So he can't travel. It's pretty much his travel is done. Now I have to find ways to make sure I go and visit. So I have taken the kids for a trip last year.
Right.
Was it last year? 19. We skipped 20.
Yeah.
Skipped 20.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah. 20 wasn't around. So 19, we took a trip there. For the kids, it was the first trip to Syria, to Damascus. Now, I've taken them to Lebanon.
Okay.
But I've never taken them to Damascus. And it was one of those trips, getting there, they know the road to Lebanon. It's fun, they're excited, and then they get more excited. Now they get in the car, we're driving, we spent a couple of days in Lebanon, but we get in the car, we're driving to Damascus. It's an hour and 45 minutes. Really? Yes, it is. And the way they drive here, it could be an hour and 30. So we get in the cars, we're driving. So the guys really wanted to avoid traffic, so they took the mountain roads, and beautiful mountains. I mean, places that you've never seen. It's like, wow, this is beautiful here. We get to the border. I'm going to tell you a quick funny story, and we'll move on from it quickly after that. Sam forgets to do a visa for the family.
Whoops.
Struggled a little bit. So we had to go back to Lebanon. Get that done, get that taken care of. And,
Right.
and then next day.
So you got to the border and then you got turned back and you had to go.
Right.
Okay.
Well, nice visit. So thinking, hey, what do we need a visa for, right? We're only going to Syria. I was born there. They're like, you need a visa.
Right.
I'm like, okay, now I understand. My wife and the kids will all get in the car on the phone with the family. We'll see you maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was great, and the kids enjoyed it.
When you
it was
finally,
really,
when you made it there to Damascus, what were your children's?
it was
reaction?
They were amazed. I mean, it's just life. Like, we're getting. It's a little windy here, huh?
Yeah. All of a sudden, we just got a
little wind.
I don't know what that noise is. Hang on a second. Oh, it's
The AC.
yeah. The AC just kicked
in.
on. I'm like, what is that noise? Oh, it's the air
AC
conditioning.
kicked
All right,
in.
whatever.
Yeah,
See, that's the way
yeah.
this show goes. You just,
That's right.
whatever.
So we had a great trip. I mean, it was fun. They've experienced something they never experienced before, and even though Lebanon is similar to Syria, it's pretty much the same. But they
Right.
never saw the house I lived in. They never saw the streets I grew up in. I took them around, and it was a great few days. It really was.
That's
It
incredible.
was amazing.
What
It was
an
amazing.
experience for them.
It was great for me too.
Yeah.
To show my kids. I mean, who knows when the next time.
Right. Hang on
mean,
one second. Hey,
sure.
Greg or Donna, we need to get something because this is going to be really loud, though. Donna. Donna always gets to make funny cameos in our show. The air conditioning kicked on and it's super loud. So can we just I hate to ask you to do that, but
Sorry, Donna.
yeah, turn it off and then
The heat is on.
This is yeah.
The heat is on.
I think the first episode that we filmed, as soon as I started talking, I knocked a whole cup of coffee all over the table. And
I got
Donna
water
came
all
in.
over your
Yeah,
table.
don't worry about it. It's okay.
Hopefully it doesn't stain. Tried to use the napkin, but Donna thought it was not a pretty look.
Yeah, well, she's the boss, you know. She's got to make sure the stuff looks right.
Production is...
So, your kids, what was the takeaway? You know, you always wonder, because that was their first time there. Did it give them a deeper sense of who they are or who you guys are as a family, do you think? Or
Sure, I would say
Yeah.
so. I would say so. I mean, it's, you know, my wife being from Rhode Island, you know, met her over 30 years ago. So that really kind of gave them like, oh my gosh, you know, Dad, this is beautiful. This is nice. They never knew what it looked like, right?
Right.
They never imagined it, you know. There wasn't enough pictures in the world that could explain or give you the experience. So that was great. That was really good. I felt great about it, you know, simply because taking your kids,
Yes.
seeing your family, you know, me and his, you know, seeing your sisters, your mom, your dad, the rest of your families, people celebrating them and having a great time. And you know, when you go there, there's always something, right? Let's go to dinner. Let's go to lunch. Let's go to dinner. Let's go to lunch. It's about
Always being together.
eat. Non-stop.
I know. I have to like sort of like prepare myself when I go to Russia, you know, like weeks ahead. I got to be training and not eating a lot and stuff because, you know, when you get there, I mean,
You're
there's
just eating.
Yeah, and there is just no way you're saying no to any of it.
No.
Not going to happen. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't, you know, because everyone, oh, you know, everywhere you go.
And you don't get like one like little plate.
No.
No. There's like 10 on the table. You got to try this, and this.
You know, it's I don't know. I find that I don't see that as much in the United States, you know. And I don't know if that's a fair statement because I don't know that I'm out and about with enough people to make that determination. But I do find that on the times that I've been over to Russia and been with my wife's family and I've experienced hospitality there that I have not even come close to experiencing here in many situations. Now, with our family, yes, of course.
Sure.
Together, yes, over the years. But it's just it's just a thing that they do.
It's true. It's so here's what I think. And I don't know if I'm right or wrong on this, but my feeling on this, you know, you go in there, the level of excitement is just goes up a few notches, right?
Yes.
And everybody's excited, and they're gonna do stuff, right? So they're gonna want to feed you. They're gonna want to make you happy in every minute you're there. Now, is this like that all the time? Is the family tighter all the time like that? They are tight, but not as tight as when
guests arrive. When family arrives.
Correct.
Right.
And I believe it's a little less here. It's more families that are distant here a little bit, you know, so
Yeah.
it's not. And is it because where we're at, or is it because how we live?
I don't know. It seems to me my family's experience was like, you know, my parents separated when I was young, so that was one thing. And then, you know, when my sister and I both graduated from college, you know, or from high school, you know, we went off. Everybody, you know, and then like for years, our family's been all over the place, right? You know,
Right.
my dad was down in Florida for a while. My mom was up in New Jersey. You know, my sister was in Colorado. She still lives there. We were just very scattered as a family. And it's not that we weren't tight and we're loving. But it's not like, hey, you know, let's go have dinner with mom tonight because she lives a mile down the road, right? And so, you know, in the United States, it's like we've all spread out and get busy. And
that's one of the biggest reasons, I think. It's not so much the family love. It's everybody spread out.
Physical proximity.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Social distancing.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, but overall, it's, yes, you know, we could do a lot more. I think we work, right?
So much.
And we work to provide.
Yes.
That's your main objective, right? You want to work to provide, make sure you have the best of the best. That's the mindset that you have to have. If you could do it. And a lot of times you forget that family ties. You forget that you need to spend more time with the family, as I've been told many times by Jim and Bob. Take time off. Get out of here.
Yeah, listen to your own advice and go do something, right?
Jeez.
I know. Well, you get. I mean, you take what you're doing seriously. You've got obviously a high level of commitment and responsibility for all the right reasons. It's very easy,
but on
for
all
any one of
different
us
levels.
to do it. Yeah,
all different levels. I look at it like, I mean, a lot of people are committed to jobs and they're focused on their job, focused on survival, and they working, and the family times shrinks. They shrink, right? You get home late. The time you spend with the kids, short time. Next thing you know, next day, and it's just, I think socially you just a little bit more distant in here.
Yeah.
So this whole COVID, I think, I guess, made you realize now it's just like how tough it is.
Yes.
You think about families not being around them, and not be able to gather and not have, those are the things you stop and think about, right? When COVID hit.
Oh,
my
absolutely.
God, I can't do this. I can't do that.
People
I can't do
who
this.
lost loved ones and weren't able to be with them.
And that's sad.
That's terrible.
That's terrible. But yeah, that's.
We'll dodge that one.
Let's move on.
Yeah,
we'll move on that one.
I wanted to ask you, at this stage in your career, what is it that still drives you in the retail automotive business? What do you love about it? You gotta love something.
You gotta love everything about it, right? You gotta love it all. So every day you just have to think, I guess, the glass is always half full, and you have to have that mindset. And naturally, this is my livelihood. This is how I grew up. I grew up in the business for 30 years, thinking this is what needs to be done every day at the best level. So do I operate at the best level every day? No, but you do have that mindset, right? And that's what makes you love it. You want to get better every day, right?
Yep.
So you're always looking for higher achievements.
And it's a marathon, isn't it? I mean, it's just like it's not a sprint. I mean,
no, it's a marathon.
Every single day, and like you said, some days you have a good day, some days
you don't.
Some days you suck, and you're like, oh my God, that was a terrible performance.
I'm out of here.
Right.
But that's the drive. That's the mindset I have, and you try to kind of not show people, but let people know it takes that much dedication. If you love something, you better be all in, right? And that's and that's part of life. No matter what you do, no matter what you love, you got to be all in. And if you don't, when you stop, you have to really stop and think. If you stop loving something, and if you don't love your job enough to walk in the morning knowing the fact that you got to perform to the highest level, you have to stop and think about it, right? I don't think I've ever had to. And it's hard to believe that.
No.
But people look at it, and I mean, there's going to be a lot of people saying 30 years, you never stopped and said, I don't, you really didn't want to be there. I never felt that way. I don't think I ever felt that way. Now, there's days, difficult days, that you just like, my God, take a deep breath. And you can't catch a second breath, So
how much of that is because of the people that you're with? I mean, to be with the same family for 30 years speaks volumes about the quality of people that they are, right?
Right. And you're only as good as the people around you.
Yes.
So you try to build that foundation, So being around good people is a huge difference. And obviously bringing the right people. And you're not always right hiring people, right? I always say to Jim and Bobby, we don't have the crystal ball. If we did, we'll always see. And you'll make the right decision if you did, right?
Might be, but you might be paralyzed as well, too.
You might be.
In every situation, you'll see,
turn
that's
differently.
Not right, that's not right, there's this flaw, there's that flaw. You could never make a decision if you knew everything, right?
100% right.
Yeah.
And that's why you just go with what you believe. And you bring the people that you can, and you feel are the best fit for your organization, and that's what we all do. I'm sure you did the same thing with your team. It's not hard. It's not easy building a team, but it's very hard keeping a team. So I don't know if I said that right. Did I?
Yeah,
Kinda.
I think absolutely.
I lost myself for a second there.
Yeah.
Did I
No,
say it right?
you said it's
Yeah. No,
I mean, it's hard to keep a team.
It's hard to keep a team, but
hard to build one, hard to keep them.
hard to build one and hard to keep them.
It's earlier when we started talking, and it kind of ties it together here a little bit, is you were talking about how it was something along the lines of, you get to a certain point, maybe this is how I interpreted it, but you get to a certain point in your life and your career where you realize that it's much more about what you're doing for other people and helping to develop your people than it is about what they're doing for you, right?
That's right.
And so when did that click for you? Because I feel like that's something that I'm sort of more becoming aware of now. It's not something that I feel that I'm succeeding at yet. I'm recognizing it more.
And then, it's a great point, Chris. I think I've said it in a few meetings. I've had a few meetings with my BDC department, my internet department, and trying to get the department going. I mean, you depend on that department a lot, right? So I have my fingers in there constantly, making sure I want to see it ran the way I think it's successful. But I always tell the people, I want you guys to know one thing, when I know that you did not do your job, that's because I didn't do my job. Simple as that. And that's how I look at everyone, so I know I'm doing the right thing for them. I'm putting them in the right place, in the right position. I know I'm being successful taking that path, right?
Right.
So I always tell them, hey, this makes me feel when I know I love the business, and I give people 150% all the time, every day. This is what I try to do. And sometimes it does work, sometimes it doesn't.
Right. Sometimes
it's just too much of me is too much of me. Just leave us alone. And some days, they're happy for me to be around them and be with them and recognizing what they do every day. So I truly believe is if I don't feel like you being successful, it's because I'm not putting you in the right place, or I'm not driving that success story behind, with you. So, and that's one of the things I feel like your people is everything. Everyone that you have in front of you should be always looked at as one of the most important pieces in your puzzles. And when you're dealing with people, you always look at how to put a whole puzzle together, and you're trying to have that chemistry, right?
Yes.
And, but I always tell them, the reason this was not right is just because it's not you. Maybe it could be you, but it's me. And that's what I believe. And sometimes they look at me saying, that had nothing to do with you. But no, it has everything to do with me. Because I could have missed it. And you were taking the wrong path.
Right.
Trying to help a situation, or resolve a situation, or deal with a situation, or a client, or another coworker, or whatever the case is. So I have to see everything. That's how I believe. That's not micromanaging. No, that's really just seeing things.
It's extreme accountability is what it is.
I guess that's a proper word for it.
That's what it is. And I don't think it's micromanaging either. It's extreme accountability, and that path, which is a path that I value as well too. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I fail, but it's a challenging path, and that's an adult path, right? I mean, to really recognize that you're responsible for the results of this organization.
Their success.
You're responsible for their success, and if they, and people are going to make. You can't eradicate every mistake,
of course,
but overall, there is that level of commitment and expectation that you place on yourself,
and you have to.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you do. And that's only me. I'm not saying it's the right thing, but that's how I feel.
Well, I would agree with you on that.
Well, thank you.
But as you are doing right now, in order to be able to do that, you've got to be able to step away and take some time to recharge, right? I mean, because that's a high energy.
It was tough. It was tough too.
Was it?
It was tough, I have to say. I mean, the business the way it is nowadays, every day, there's always something, right? It's very hard to get away from your job. You got to think about the family.
Yeah. I mean, I've been fortunate to travel and do a lot of things over the last 15 years, but I don't know if there's ever been really a day that, well, that's not true. There is. But it's, even when you're on vacation or traveling, there's always something
Right.
that you're either thinking about or you need to do, and that's just the way that it is.
It is. That's true. My brother lives in Naples, as why I'm in Naples.
Right.
So he's a cardiologist. Has been here for. Well, he came after me to the U.S. By the way, he graduated medicine school in Syria. So and he came, and I was first married. He came and lived with us for probably a year and a half, I think.
Okay.
That's how far back.
You guys are a serious immigrant success story, your family.
Well,
right?
we're very, very thankful. I could say this. I never wanted to do medicine. I could have gone to Russia to study medicine, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
I had a couple of opportunities. One was to study in Budapest, do medicine, I think. And I don't know if the other one was Russia. I don't remember. But I know for sure I had different opportunities, and I chose this path. I don't know how I convinced my parents to that, That was tough.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure how they did it. Think about it now, 30-some years later. But, he's been in Naples, cardiologist. Every time I come here, let me check you out. No.
Oh, really?
Not this time, but I've gotten checked out by him a few times.
Ticker's still good?
It's good. The
Okay.
ticker's good.
Good.
Not bad. But it's we're blessed, blessed to have my brother down here. Came and visit and spent a couple of days, and it's nice to have the family enjoying their time, and the kids get together. We don't get together a lot, talking about getting together, right?
Right.
So it's traveling from Rhode Island to Naples to be with your family, spend a few days, and get back to work. But
good stuff.
But that's what you got to do. You do what you have to do.
That's right.
So it's been a great journey, and again, I want to add this to the end. Your team, I know I got to run shortly because everybody's waiting for me to dinner. By the time I get back, probably 5:30.
Yeah.
I don't know what time it is now, but
if you wrap up and we're out of here in the next little bit of time, you'll be back by 5:36.
Yeah.
You'll be just in time for dinner. Perfect.
Yeah, but it's been a great experience. I love the place.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. It's really nice. It's beautiful. It's just very refreshing. You walk in, it's really nice.
Thank you.
Like I said, if I could make an office for myself, one day, to have that nice little lounge, right? Relaxing lounge. Put the music on. I think that's really very, very smart of you to do that. It's very positive. It's very relaxing. You want to walk in a place that feels, nice. You feel that tension, then you're like, ooh. You walk to a place that feels nice. You want to do business with. You want to be around the people. You want to enjoy people. And that's what you have.
Thank you. That means a lot to me to hear that.
Yeah, definitely.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you got a great staff here.
Thank you.
I could say that. That's for sure.
Well, we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
A lot.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you made the ride over here.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you've survived the interrogation room here.
My goodness. This was am I really going behind the glass?
Yeah.
It was nice, though.
That was great.
Really nice. I enjoyed it, and I hope, you and your family are doing well and, surviving, obviously, this craziness. But are you traveling soon, or?
My wife and kids will leave. They're going over in July.
Yeah, nice.
And then I'll go over. I'll meet them later.
Good. I think I'm going to take a trip. I don't know if I'm taking the kids this time. My son is like, no, I'm coming. He's 16. He's like, I'm coming.
Oh, good.
I'm like, I don't know. I want to make it quick, in and out, see the family. But, everybody will be probably disappointed if I don't take him.
Yeah, if he wants to go, you might as well, right?
Yeah, I think I'll take him.
Well.
Now he's got me on recording now.
Yeah.
Should have never said anything.
No, that's because you wanted it to happen.
I know. Of course I wanted. Yeah, so I'll probably be doing the same thing sometimes end of July, beginning of August, spend a week.
Good.
Yeah. You got to see the family. It's only the right thing to do. always, right?
That's right.
Well,
Cheers, Sam.
Chris.
Water and coffee. Dink.
Oh, we're not going to read. There we go. Yeah. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank
Fantastic.
you. I enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you.
All right.
Great,
There we go.
great times.